is get us together and to say that, do you care if I take this off?
Leave to the bottom of that back door when you leave if you do. Right.
To just get us together and regroup because of the changes that have happened. We all know COVID has been a big thing, and so in our comments today, as far as the negative side, we all know COVID is a big restriction. So going forward, to reclaim our Sunday school people and to get people interested in discipleship activities again, that's the purpose that I want to accomplish here. So let's begin with prayer. Jeff, would you say a prayer for us, please?
Sure. God, we thank you for your call to the disciples when you said, "Follow me," and how they answered, and then how they spent 3 years following you and studying at your feet, and then how you sent them out 2 by 2, and you told them to go into the world to make disciples. And that call is still for us, the church today. You so desperately want us going out into the community and bringing others to Christ, and you want us to sit at the rabbi's feet, and you want us to learn from the teacher and from the master. So help us as concerned members here at Troutman First to find ways that we can be the disciples that reach out to others and that we help bring others into your fold. Be with us during this meeting. Give us ideas. Help us to be excited about the potential. For it is in your name that we pray. Amen.
All right, so let's kind of think of the meeting in 2 parts, and we'll try to do not too long because I'm starving. I know you are. But part 1 is this. I did a little Google map pin drop. You are here. Okay, this is where we are concerning all that's happened since spring of 2020. And here's where we kind of want to be. So just reviewing our mission of the church, which I feel like Jeff and I came to a place where you've already got great goals and you've got things in place to work with. So your mission of to worship, to learn, to share the name of Jesus, and vision to be a spiritual connection in the community. And a goal that we have right now is we want more families and children to become part of our church, and we always want to gather people together. All right? So when we talk a little bit, then what I would like to do is, see, this is like a map. I think we need to set some short-term goals. This is the big area that we want to get to, but what kind of groundwork do we need to lay in order to get there? There are things in place that they're reviewing some ideas about hiring a youth and children minister and things, getting some more staff. But what can all the lay people of the church do to make their job easier? What do we need to have in place for them to work with? What kind of steps? You just can't go from here to here. It's like a Google map. It tells you each step-by-step direction to get there. Okay? And then Jeff and I knew that there was a grant coming up, and so we went ahead and took the liberty of writing a grant. And the inspiration for the grant was 2 things. It was the need for getting back to, we say getting back to normal, but I like to think about a song that Mandisa put out at Christmas time, and it was called Get Used to Different. We need to get back to different, whatever it's going to be, because COVID has changed us all. We can't go back to the same way we were just immediately. Everything's just not the same. And you can't pretend it's the same. People have been through something, and there's some people that are really hurting. And what does our church need to address in this, too, of losses of jobs, family separations, people dying? There's some things that maybe our church needs to be there to support our community. All right? And so this is a saying that you might recognize from Emmaus. It was in one of the talks in Emmaus. Make a friend, be a friend, bring a friend to Christ. It's all about relationship. So I feel like that's a good starting point. And then Jeff and I were talking about what are our assets that we have here. We've got a great playground that's got shade trees. We've got new picnic tables and things that the Eagle Scout did. We've got, we're not right out on Main Street. We're just a little bit off Main Street. We're visible, but we're safe because we've got a parking lot, a yard where people can play or do things, and it's not right in traffic. And even this road right here, I was envisioning, what if we had some sort of event, what if we asked the police if we could just put a barricade, let people know ahead of time, talk to our neighbors down there and let them know there won't be any through traffic on X night, this night, but shut that off. So we could have this whole area to spread out and people could enjoy the grass and the parking lot. So we also had a good thing going. When was the last dinner church, Jeff?
March of last year.
See, it was just about a year ago. We had a dinner church. People were really enjoying that. And we had some people coming out that were new faces. We had something was happening. A little spirit was happening there. So, to play off of all these assets, I think is an important part of the grant that we wrote. And then another part of the grant, we've heard from feedback that our videos that Jeff works hard to post are just not coming through very well. The echoey sound in here is not really helping people to enjoy the online worship. And we do need some sound equipment for maybe the outdoor. If we keep having outdoor in the spring and summer, it's a little bit difficult to get the sound equipment to adapt to that. And in the fellowship hall, when we do have lessons and teaching down there, we've been relying on Jim a lot because Jim has been bringing his projector, and then you have to roll out that big screen, and you don't have any way of tapping into resources that are available and modern things that we need.
We also don't have a sound system downstairs.
Or a sounded public address system. If we have trunk or treat or something, or have things in the fellowship hall, we don't really have a good public address to have enjoyable things that people can come to. So, Jeff, do you want to take a little time, just tell them real quick about the grant? Maybe you would be less wordy than I would.
I'm a preacher. I'm always wordy. What are you talking about? The grant that we wrote, we entitled it Outside Church. I forgot the name. Now you remind me. Inside Out Church. Right. And the purpose is we're wanting to take the church outside, out the doors. And so we looked at it as twofold. We are wanting to envision and take and modify the Wednesday night meal program that we had and offer it outdoors in the playground during 3 months in the summer. And we were saying June, July, and August. And we want to we talked about maybe us not cooking the meal, but getting people like Randy's or Julia's or somebody that might could cater it and support their business too, because in this economic COVID time, their businesses have hurt as well. And so with this grant, and we have some money still left in dinner church, we thought about using some of the monies that we get to help buy food to invite people to come in. We also included in the package or in the grant asking for a new video camera that's state of the art that can get better sound quality, that maybe could hook into the sound system here that could pick up the sound in the sanctuary better and that we could use outdoors. We also projected getting a portable sound box that we can use either out on the steps or in the basement when we go into the basement for Sunday school or for Wednesday night meals or Bible study or children's when we go with children downstairs. So the grant covers two things. It's revitalizing our Wednesday night meal program and putting in some equipment here. The grant could not go towards staff or any kind of things like that, but it could go toward equipment, it could go toward programs. So that's what we label it as. Our envision is, with the sound equipment, we want to, as neighbors come in, if they feel comfortable sharing their story, we're going to ask them questions. How has COVID affected you? What are you dealing with? What could we do as a church to help in your situation? And if they would allow us, we would like to videotape that. And then we can bring that back to our missions and witness committees, to our outreach, to this committee, to say, okay, this is what we're hearing from our neighbors. This is what they need. This is what they don't have in their life. Could we meet that need? Maybe they want to study on a particular book of the Bible, or maybe they want to learn how to deal with grief. And it's something that we need to offer here at the church. So that's why we wrote this grant. Does that cover it?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, and why this has to do with Sunday school teachers is that we just need to get our flock together, but we can't really, I just want to get a pulse for how you feel like things are going to play out in the next 6 months. So if we're in March, April, May, June, July, August, so through the summer. So what are some things that you think will happen, won't happen? What kind of groundwork do we need to put in place if we were to get a children's person? Jeff and I thought maybe this would go hand in hand because we're trying to ask that person to go out and get people. So this is a vehicle for that. Sunday school revitalization would be something that person's going to be working on as well too. So I'm not saying we have to make a big plan, but right now we're not doing anything. So what would you like to do? Okay, so I've talked a lot. Jeff's talked now. Does anybody have any thoughts?
Do you think
you are here, what would be some baby steps? What do you think baby steps need to be?
And one of the things that Donna and I talked about coming over here, are we ready to start coming back inside for Sunday school, or do you think people would do that yet? Is it too early for that?
Well, I've tried to think about how to get back to Sunday school, and it's hard to visualize something other than actually being in a classroom setting. And how do you do that? In other words, you could do a video type thing like you do with the preaching, but again, as trying to teach a class, I want input from the class. And if you're doing a video type thing where people can see it from home, you don't have that input from and it would be difficult for me to teach a class like that, because I want the class to have input and because that helps me.
Okay, let me write that down, and in a minute I'll ask you to say an idea that you had. Okay.
Well, I
So
think
go ahead and
the adult
play on that.
Be here in the sanctuary, but it's going to be harder for the children.
Yeah, that's going to be tough there.
I think we can manage for the adults, but what about the children if they still have to be
Where'd
separated?
you go?
I'm right here writing.
She's writing
She's
down.
right.
Oh, okay. I didn't see her. I just barely could see her back.
So I wrote down Sunday school, what will it look like? Because we still don't even really know what to do. Because do you feel like people in the next, I don't think in 3 months they're going to be ready to come back.
I don't either.
Maybe by June through August, maybe. Do you think that, so we need to prepare for maybe June, prepare for June. Prepare for June,
I think
possible in
prepare
person.
August is better.
What?
I think your August is prepare for August, but I don't know.
Well,
Okay, tentative June, but probably August, get back together, okay.
that may,
Or-
may go with the school starting back too, because
Right.
people are gonna,
Right.
Yeah, well, you're right, because we would be coming back when people really dwindle off on Sunday school.
if we're more opened up, people are gonna be moving around and not, maybe be gone, not be in town as much.
Right.
Okay,
So that's
all
probably
right,
right.
so tentative August.
How many families did we have with kids before it hit? We've only got 3 that show up for church, and they don't show up all the time.
This is a problem.
Well, you're missing the Larsons that would come to Sunday school and occasionally preaching.
The Wyatts.
The Wyatts, the Dillons, the Yeagers. You got the new family, the Bridges.
Yeah. But you only got the Jaeger, and it's got where the Wyatts very seldom come.
Well, she said, I asked Sharon today, and she said that the kids didn't sleep last night, so Angela let them sleep in today. You've also got youth group, John Casey now that could move up in youth group. Abe Austin, there's Duke, there's Sean White, there's Christian Mills, if we could get him to come. Melina is a youth group age.
How old is Jillian?
Jillian would move up into youth after this year. She's old enough for confirmation this year. So I counted the other day, there's about 8 and 8. 8 kids, 8 youth. Right.
Because I spoke to, I guess it was Duke's mama. She used to work at Walgreens.
Yes.
She hurt her arm. But she said Duke was working and going to school and living in Mooresville now.
Living in Mooresville.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, she told me last I talked to her he was working at Zootastic.
working at where?
Zootastic.
You must have gotten a new job after that. All right.
Oh, and there's
I thought
another
you
family that we keep forgetting too, the Hevards, Aiden and Declan.
Yeah.
They came sporadically with Carol, but, you know,
Carrie and, I can't, what's their last name?
Larson.
Larson.
The other son's back for, yeah, 4.
Okay. All right, so feeling like it's going to be difficult to teach. And yes, I think online is really, like trying to do a online instruction, I think it's going to be hard because people are so bombarded right now with all the online Zoom calls, all that stuff. They're just like, I need a Sabbath.
Yeah.
I don't need more computers on church time. So it'd have to be brief. It would have to be something a little different. Okay, and so anything else that I need to, we're great job with Lee doing the children during church. So
Absolutely.
providing something for them that do show up once a month. Thank you for that. So once a month, we've got that. And Patsy, you have anything?
No, I just don't see most of our adult class wanting to come back. Do you?
Do you think the adults would come into the sanctuary here and just have one large adult class to start with
I don't know.
before we break off into and teach? I mean, we've done this before, like we used to once a month, we'd have the adults would come in for it wasn't the whole class, but it was like a devotional type. Well, no, we had a Sunday school, because I remember teaching it a time or two. But the class, and it may have been because of bad weather. I just don't remember. If it was because of bad weather, we came together.
Because we can't get but, what, 6 at the max on Wednesday night to do Bible study.
9, we've had
I
9.
think that's, the Bible study is again the technology prohibiting people from enjoying it, because on the phone too, sometimes the hearing is an issue.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a struggle.
I've had to call, my mobile phone won't make the phone call anymore, so I have to call on the landline.
Okay,
But
I like the one adult class idea. How do y'all feel about that?
Of course,
We
there
can
again,
ask
with
them.
kids, that may be a problem, which maybe the younger ones won't come out from the adult Sunday school class, I don't know. But
Well, we could address that as it comes, because then maybe we could have in the fellowship hall one child's class
yeah,
for all ages.
maybe I
okay,
should,
maybe that would work, yeah.
maybe I should try to talk to some of them and see. What,
Would that bother you to teach a whole class out in here?
I like a lot of feedback myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if they feedback as easily.
They may not, I don't know.
I'm not as good at teaching,
Yeah,
you know, just on my own,
Well, maybe y'all could work together.
yeah.
it
Or you
wouldn't have to be us either, it could be
Yes, it does.
some other adults.
I'm just gonna say, yes, it does. No, I'm just kidding. But y'all, I think y'all can do it.
But I sent out an email to a lot of our people and I only got 2 replies.
Oh, what was your
So that
email?
kind of,
The ones in your class or the,
to our adult class,
Asking what?
huh?
What was your email?
To ask them what they would like to study. But I didn't get any, I got 2 replies back.
When was that?
It's been a while ago.
Yeah, it's been after,
It's
pretty
been-
much after this got started,
Yeah,
pretty heavy, wasn't it, when you sent that out?
yeah. So maybe I'll try again.
Well, and maybe the asking what they want to study was overwhelming.
And how they might want to,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
about
probably just need to
terms.
pick something to start with.
Right.
See if they would be willing to come to the class
Yeah.
and hear spread out.
I think that, yeah, just ask them if they would be willing to come, in an invitation to say, we'll be available at this time. We would gladly teach anyone who shows up. Well,
Okay.
would you like to come?
okay. I'll
Just
try to-
respond to this email if you'd like to come. We'll be there.
And you
And
wanna set up
sometimes you have to, Jeff's taught me this.
Yeah,
Sometimes you have to just do it and say, here's what we're going to do. And then you see who comes. Then if it's not working, you back up. But
When you're the leader, you lead. You
Right.
have to lead.
right?
yeah,
But when would that start?
well, that's a good question.
That's what we're trying to decide, I think. Shelley.
Yeah, I think I hadn't even really, see, that's why I wanted to call you together. I hadn't even really thought of that idea, and I like it. If y'all like it, I feel, my idea was we need to contact people. So I feel like even maybe we should mail something, because some people don't read their emails,
emails, yeah.
or the emails get lost in the shuffle. But maybe we need to pick up the phone.
Or they
Because
want
see, when you pick up the phone and you say, what do you think? There's a dead silence on the other end, so they're going to feel it. They're going to say, well, I don't know, Patsy, whatever you think is good. So,
Well-
they're going to respond at least if you're talking to them on the phone.
Well, just for an
So-
example, the other day, a member of the church, I saw her downstairs at Compassion Crafters, and she told me, thank you for the card that the church sent. And Sheila, that person was here today. So see, you sent cards as congregational care, letting people know you've been missing them. Happy Valentine's Day, and what? Someone showed up today.
Wow.
So see, that's it. It's the individual cards, the calling on the phone. That's what I think gets people here.
Personal
Personal
relationship.
contact.
Right. So,
Okay, so how can we go about that? So number one, maybe this is the second step. All right, what will it look like? This is the idea, so how do we get to that? We need to contact people. So maybe the first step is contact people. And how do you want to go about that as far as
Well, should we
developing?
set a goal of saying we will start, if you would like to participate, we will start in August or July or,
Oh, you don't want to start sooner with the adult Sunday school?
Well, I thought maybe you were gonna start
What
the,
if you start after Easter and that gives you,
Yes.
that gives you,
First Sunday in April or something.
yeah.
okay,
Well, Easter is the first Sunday in April, maybe go the next Sunday after that.
okay, that gives them an idea of when it's gonna be and,
And time to think about it and prepare.
Right. And Patsy, maybe you or Ralph, whoever's going to start teaching, is to come up with maybe 4 topics that you want to do. Maybe you say, maybe I want to do the book of Daniel or the book of Exodus or whatever. You know, you choose that book that y'all want to teach and think about it and say, okay, these are 4 choices. Which of these 4? Because that way you're taking them out of having to think about
correct,
it.
give them less choices
Right.
than everything. Yeah,
Right.
narrow it down, good idea.
Revelation,
You're teaching.
I
Ah.
finished it. See, that was,
I've been in a self-study on that.
That might be a little heavy to start with.
I'm in chapter 19 finally. Oh.
And Lee, what if we talked about the adults, what about the children for a minute? What if we did one big event in March, right before Easter, to celebrate Easter? Because the kids didn't get to have Easter egg
No,
hunt
that's,
last
that's in the back of,
Yeah.
that was, that,
They didn't get to have Easter egg hunt last year. They didn't get to celebrate. And what could we do that would be socially distanced but yet safe for the kids, that we could celebrate Easter and get them together?
And that's not something, if we don't have it up our sleeve right now, that's a good thinking point.
Right. But you've only got 4 or 5 weeks in March because Easter's here April 4th. So
Right,
it's
so
coming.
maybe Julie, Lee, and I, and
Angela.
I would like to do a thing like the stones, paint some stones, like in, be able to get out in the community and let them place. I know because Sunday morning's not enough time to do that, but let them go around in the community and
Put some
you know how the
colors.
stones painted already, and maybe Brenda Sue, we could put stickers on them, or they wouldn't have to dry the paint or whatever, but just let the kids do something like that.
I love it.
Or something.
It goes so good with Jeff's sermon
I mean, it
series.
hit me. I mean, it just,
And instead of them greedily grabbing things up, they are hiding
it wouldn't be,
something
it
for
wouldn't be
someone
like,
else.
it
There's a
wouldn't be
difference.
like getting an Easter egg.
It's like
it would
an
be-
Easter egg hunt for everybody.
And maybe have pizza for them or something.
I like that.
I love it. Painting stones.
But the stones would already be painted, but maybe Brenda Sue could do some stickers or something, and the kids could put the stickers on them, and we could take them out in the community.
Well, they could do simple things like they could put a cross.
Yeah.
You
Or-
can add to it. Yeah, have that base coat.
Sequins or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, base coat done, but then
Yeah.
add a
Yeah.
detail. Oh, I love that. Okay, kids. All right, so what date for that, Jeff?
Well, Easter's April 4th, so you would want to do it before that Sunday.
Okay. All right, so maybe you and Julie and Angela and I get together and figure out.
Okay.
Okay, what date? Okay, kids paint stones.
Or maybe you could at least get an email chain going between and spread
And
ideas.
then I want to try to do some, next month, make some little Easter cards for shut-ins and stuff, is my idea for next month.
They really enjoyed the Christmas cards. And if you decide you need more than one Sunday for children's church too, let me know, okay?
All right, and then also, as far as the kids, Julie and I have been doing now. Linda said that she wanted to withdraw from Sunday school. So she said that she was taken, with COVID, and that was a good time for her. That's the feeling that I get from her. She feels like she would like to bow out from Sunday school. So, and she's done it for many years. I can respect
Yeah,
that.
she has.
And it is probably
Well,
difficult
she
for
says
the
it's getting difficult
location.
going up the steps
It's
too.
difficult for her Linda to climb the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
So, and plus a big group of little bitty children.
But all
she's been
those,
very
but
patient
all
to
those
do all
kids
that.
have moved up now except for Keegan.
Yeah.
Because
See,
all the
that's
kids are in school except Keegan now.
a different class too now that a year later. Okay. All right, and so see, those are great baby steps. think that if we are getting somebody new in here, they can see that the lay people of the church are doing something, and we're trying to shepherd the children a little, and then from, look how when we get together and ideas just come up, I think that person can build on stuff like this.
So when do you think you might do the Wednesday night thing, going back to the Wednesday night thing?
Okay, that was going to start in
It's
June.
going to start in June, so we need to start planning that pretty soon. So if you would be interested in that, on that committee to help with it.
Go ahead. Be happy to help with that.
So it will be a meal and a Bible study, right?
Well, it'll be a meal and a gathering in the park. It may not be, so to speak, Bible study. It may be just, again, as Sheila, we said, we want to give them a chance to say their story, what they've been dealing with COVID. So we're still trying to wrap our brain how that's going to be, because if they will be willing for us to videotape it, we want to do that. So we've got a way to come back and look at, okay, this is what our church could be doing, missions, witness. There are people in our community that say they don't have a church family that has helped them with grief get through this, or they've been dealing with economic troubles, finances being met. How could we give a workshop or a jobs shop or something to help people find a means of need to meet their needs during this time?
If they brought their concerns,
If you know any teenagers.
we can't have a butterfly release, maybe a balloon release or something, say, we're sending these to God, let go of it, or something like that.
I like that.
I like it.
Why couldn't you have a butterfly release?
Well, I don't know if
That would be-
any butterflies then, but maybe.
From school, from teaching school, you can get butterflies pretty easy. Yeah, and that might be something Lee could monitor too, that kids watching butterflies develop, because you can get the caterpillars, and then you watch them, they get in their cocoons, and then you know the date that they're going to be ready, and you have a butterfly release. And she was talking about the people bringing their concerns to the Wednesday night thing in June, and then release butterflies, saying they're going to, these are our prayers.
Or we let them go about.
They may not want us to release helium balloons because they might,
Yeah, that's bad for the environment.
birds can eat those. And
So, yeah, we'll think of some, if not butterflies, we'll think of something.
Okay.
That sounds good.
pigeons.
You
Maybe
know
we
what
get-
I love?
Anybody got anybody that's a pigeon trainer?
I
Well-
love,
There is somebody that does a bird thing.
Well,
There
see,
is. She's an ag teacher at South Idaho High School.
that might be.
ooh, okay, release.
And a dove is what Noah sent out and brought back peace.
That would be a lot easier probably than doing all the butterfly stuff, but maybe doves, butterflies. You know what is awesome that I see online all the time is those paper lanterns
Oh, yeah.
that you make with the candle at the bottom, and then the hot air takes it up. But then what kind of fire risk? I don't understand how people do that except right at a lake, because you could start a wildfire. That doesn't sound
We don't want to burn Troutman down.
No, we do not. But anyway.
We don't want to be
But
charged
the
like
doves-
Nero, the Christians that burned the city.
And see, we won't be here at dark. We won't be here at dark in June. It'll be,
Yeah.
dark will be later, so doves would be great, or butterflies one, yeah. Okay, these are awesome ideas. So, we're getting to, that's been about 30 minutes, and plus we were pushed a little later, so maybe the last 15 minutes. These are great. Now, first we need to let people know, or make these contacts, because, okay, we haven't seen people in a year, or we haven't had personal contact with them in a year. And then we're going to say, hey, come out here, or just stick this notice up and say, read this. That's kind of cold. We've got to be warm. We really have to want a relationship with our church family here. So.
And this is where my idea to Donna this morning
yeah.
came about that starting the warm feeling is, what if some of you that are teachers or that work with the different groups, because we have the Facebook page and we can increase the ad and it goes to people in the Troutman area, because that's what I will increase like the ad for like $10, and it publicizes it, and it goes within so many miles, anybody in the radius can see that ad of the post. So my thought to Donna was, what if like we had a Julie that does a youth message, or a Lee that you do a children's message, and we videotape it, and it'd be a short message, and then we put it out on Facebook. And Ralph, maybe you do an adult message for Sunday school. And then, like I said, it'd be 3 to 5 minutes max that we put out there. And because the last church that I worked at First Cherryville, the children's and the youth director, she would do a little 5-minute children's message every Wednesday because they weren't able to do their Wednesday night programming. And they videotaped it and they put it out online, so everybody was watching it, you know.
Meaning not when we were there, but she did
No,
that
now,
during COVID.
right now during COVID, the one that's there now. And she would gear it down to the children, but even the adults were commenting, hey, that relates to me today, you know, I needed it. So putting the messages out there that people can start seeing, this is what we've got, what we're wanting to do. And maybe then you start plugging what we're going to do in Inside Out Church. You know, start plugging the event, you know, and we figure out ways to do it, you know.
Do you think that you'd be willing to, and you said it would be hard for you to teach, but what we're just saying is you can incorporate a Bible verse if you wanted to. I mean, you could teach them just a mini lesson or just talk to people, just.
That's what I did with the kids last week I did John 3:16 for God so loved the world, so. And we repeated it several times, you know, just to get it in their head and stuff. And
Just,
Yeah, that
and
would,
this going out on Facebook, see, we're going to reach people that we don't know yet.
yeah, the 3 to 5 minute, like you're talking
Yeah,
about,
that's just a little promo.
basically just an ad, so to speak, or.
Well, and we could start out with, you know, when you decide you're going to start teaching your class, it could be a builder to say, if you're going to teach Revelation, you could say, look, the end of the beginning is here. You know, and we're going to talk about it. You know, whatever you decide, you know, but it could be a promo for that class.
Yeah.
And you might get people outside of the neighborhood that would come to check it out. You never know. So,
Yeah. And I say maybe just a little personal, something, just a little something. You don't have to get detailed about you personally.
and it doesn't have to be deep in theology. It could be what.
Yeah.
It's something that they want to hear
Right.
more.
Here's why I teach Sunday school, or here's a favorite story from church when I was growing up, or, you know, just something personal that they could say, oh, that's interesting. And then you say, hey, we're starting this, come on out.
Or what would it look like, since we're in this Inside Out Church that we're wanting them to tell their stories? What if we said, this is how COVID's impacted me?
Oh boy, yeah.
You know, Patsy, you had that scare at the very beginning that you thought, you know, when you were having those heart problems, you thought you had COVID and they kept you in the hospital and you waited and you couldn't get the results. But, you know, how,
14 days.
right, how that impacted you, you know, the fear, but you knew you trusted God and you knew things were going to be okay, but it was in the back of your mind thinking about this, you know. If you would be willing to share that, you know, those things that you could come up with, that would help them that maybe we're trying to reach to come in to tell their story, you know.
my thing is, I've just been saying this all along, I've been keeping my faith over fear.
Yeah.
See, a message like
I've
that.
just been having that, you know, faith over fear.
Yeah, I mean, and Lee, you worked in an office where it came in your office, but you were safe. You know, that faith over fear.
I mean,
Right.
Yep.
If you'd be willing to say that on, you know, in a public platform, I think would impact people. Because the church is getting some bad press these days, so we need to say we're real people. You know, we're not
we
trying
are, because
to.
I missed the Wednesday night fellowship. I can say, I have truly missed the Wednesday night fellowship.
Well, I missed the hugs on Sunday morning.
I know.
Right.
Well, I will tell you the boy, 3 years old. I told Donna. He came in the office and he said, he was leaving to get his prize, and he says, "Can I give you a hug?" And I looked at his mama, and he gave me a hug. And it was just,
Because we've been missing hugs.
it just felt so good.
Yep.
Definitely. All right, and then for people that aren't on Facebook, as far as the people who sit in the pews with us, are we gonna, do you want to try to do a telephone? Do we want to try to break the people up and try to telephone people? Or mail them something? Is the telephone too hard to do? I mean, is that something you don't like doing? What would work for y'all? What do you think, as the discipleship team, what could we reach people? Would you like mailing or telephone? Because we've got a digital, a computer way. So what's something tangible, like a phone call or a piece of paper?
I think I'll get more action if I do telephone. I say, if you can't get somebody, then you mail them.
Okay.
Yeah, that personal contact is the,
Yeah.
in anything,
A
really.
lot of people tend to, when they see a thing from the church, to file 13.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
they do. Okay, so
Just don't call my house phone, I ignore it.
could Gilda work up a telephone list and that we could divide, and then we could see what other volunteers would like to help with that? So
She's
could
she's already got the list, she just gotta break it out.
Okay.
There's some that we know that we just will never get, so we just need to take them off, but there's some that always still the potential.
Okay. So Jeff will
Were
ask.
the Burchetts here this morning?
No,
They weren't here
this
last
makes
week?
the third week, I gotta call them. I know she's been worried about her brother because he's real bad diabetic. So usually when I don't see him 2 weeks, I'll call. So I'll call them.
And my neighbor, I knew last week.
Where they been at too?
Well, last week, she was not feeling well,
Okay.
and so they didn't come. And I don't know about today, I'm gonna have to fuss at him for being.
Were they here on the day you preached?
Uh-uh.
So they've
Been
been
here for
3 weeks now, so I need to call them too.
Well, they were something that weekend, I believe. There was somebody in her family that was something, a church, the baby was baptized or something. I think they were in another
And
church.
if any of you've got contact or pull with Missy too, call her. I've been trying to call, she doesn't answer my calls.
Who?
Missy Jablonski.
It's
Yeah. So if any of you got a number, call her too.
Okay.
Julie's saying they probably aren't gonna make it.
We'll tell her we're about done.
Yeah, I did. I know.
on these
Tell her she
Okay.
can come if she's bringing lunch, but
On these
So-
calls, we're gonna talk about starting the Sunday school back and about the Wednesday night.
Right, and
it's
and
still-
what I say is just,
sounds like somebody's at the
how
back
are you
door.
doing?
Yeah, and just say we're missing them. and-
Right.
Can-
Listen,
Can you just give us a little,
Like a script?
Why don't Donna write something up?
well, not necessarily a script, but
some talking points?
talking points, yeah, that we need to talk about. If you could do that,
Yeah.
that would be helpful, I think.
Yes, I think so too. I like to have stuff written down when I get on the phone because I'm just like. So right now we're at the first week in March. Easter is, see, we wanted to do the April 4th is Easter, so we just have 1 month. So we do want to go ahead and get this calling done within the next 2 weeks, because then the children's thing is probably either it's coming up. Hey! So we want to get this calling done
Oh, okay.
in the next 2 weeks. Hi! Thanks for taking trouble to come. We've got some stuff that we've talked about and a videotape for you so that you could participate. Okay? All right, and right now we're talking about, we want to make contact with all the people in church, the people on our roll, and see, even people that come, I think we should still call them and listen. You know, that's the thing about make a friend, be a friend, bring a friend to Christ. That's what I started with. And if you're a friend, you know, you're not always just telling people something. You want to hear what they have to say. So first, you know, have a little, just a chat. Just how's things, you know, listen for things that maybe you can jot down some notes that we need to, if you call them another time, you can go back to with that person, because that's how people feel loved, is you think of what they said and go back to what's important to them. And then, yes, we need talking points of here's what's happening. Because I think relationship first is something that's going to be important in getting people back after COVID, because some people, sometimes it's easier, Julie, isn't it, to keep your kids at home and not fight them to get their shoes on, you know, and it's easier not to get out of bed when it's raining. A lot of older people may have found that, hey, I kind of like being in my house in my pajamas, watching the TV, pastor. Why do you come? Why do we come here? What Lee said, right? What Lee said, I miss the fellowship. So this is our asset first. You know, get that fellowship, them desiring fellowship with us. So, and we want to have a goal of within the next 2 weeks get the phone calls all done, and Jeff is who's going to do the Facebook videos, who's going to organize who wants to do it, and
Who wants to go first? I'll film you.
Julie, we said what we wanted to do is a short video on Facebook, just maybe a little something personal, how COVID affected you, and what your faith meant through COVID, and then welcoming people to.
You could say, my name's Julie Yeager. I work with the youth here at First Troutman, and I just wanted to share a message to the youth of encouragement. This is how it affected me, and what I hope that the youth will be able to do in the future, or whatever,
Yeah.
So
we want to put out feelers, because we can't get people together just yet, but this is a start. Okay? And so we'll be back in touch. I'll be back in touch with you with the talking points and divided up list. Would you be objected to me dividing the list up? I mean, is there anybody that would not, you don't care? Okay, all right. And then, is there any other actions?
Well, Lee's working on the thing for the kids about the rocks, right?
Yes, he's got to get a date for it.
You've been voluntold to get with Lee about an Easter activity for the kids.
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be you, her, and Brenda Sue, and Angela. They're going to come up with the idea for it, but they're going to paint rocks and put out through the community. Sorry.
We'll let everybody go because we can't go over everything, but I'll let
It's
Julie,
on the video. You can watch the video.
I'll let
send it
Julie
to you.
digest everything. Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shush you. I did.
Shh, Jeff.
I shushed the preacher.
My work wife normally does that.
Okay. And Ralph and Patsy are going to come up with the topics. About
what?
the choices of topics.
Sunday school.
For Sunday school. Okay. All right. Look, we've got steps. Here's where we are, Julie.
I was trying to read it upside
And we got a map. Okay?
Okay.
That's our beginning direction. Thank you for everybody coming. I appreciate it. And I'm so pleased with all the thoughts that you put into this, and you got so many great ideas. Fantastic. All right. Do we need to close with prayer?
You're the leader.
Okay.
You told me to shh.
I did. Patsy, would you mind just have a closing prayer? Would you have, I'm sorry, would you have a closing prayer, please?
Oh, okay. Our Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the time to get together, to be disciples for your work. We ask that you would give us insight into what we need to do and the courage to present it to others. Go with us now and bless us in the rest of this day. We thank you for this time. In Christ's name, amen.
All right, thanks, guys. So we were pushed a little late because they had another thing before this. We just started.
Yeah, the administrative council